Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's video. So today we're pretty much set. So the car is ready to start as of right now. If I must be honest with you, it already started, but you guys are gonna see the video. Yeah, so car's already started. The last time we spoke, we were still working on a few things, and I'll turn this around, show you what we worked on, go under the car, show you the finished exhaust, all the stuff we did there. The intercooler piping and the intercooler are mounted, not permanently, but mounted where they're gonna be, and the bumper is back off so we don't go ahead and mess it up. But yeah, I'm gonna turn you guys around. We'll take a look at this, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, now, so looking at the car, we'll start from the top down. So a few things we didn't do yet. We didn't figure out the coolant yet. We didn't need it to get the car started for the first time, just to make sure everything works. So that's gonna be a project for this week. We're gonna get that coolant bottle figured out, figure out a little mounting system for it, and route the hoses. This guy's still out here. It's got to end up inside the rain tray. So we're going to work on a few things there. Already got the top feed in here ready to go. It's just the lower hose has to be routed correctly. Of course, the bigger and tougher ones are out. What else? We got the O2s connected to the downpipe so that the car could start. Oil feed is in. We put together our oil drain. I'll show you a little clip of that. But the oil drain is a few different pieces put together so that we can make this all work. But we have a pretty good oil return path, and that's going right to the bottom of the oil pan there. Going from there, we have our two lines going to our wastegate. We're not going to drive, so this won't be as important, but I wanted to have them hooked up in case we did have any issues there. We have all our catch can stuff hooked up. I took off the valve cover, and then thought this was a perfect time to go ahead and retighten all of the all of the head bolts back to the right torque. Everything was set. Really none of them even budged, so that was great to see that after all those heat cycles they were all exactly where they needed to be. Moving along further, you could see now we're starting to get into the intercooler piping. This is our blow-off valve location, so it's a tile cue. It's going to sit right there behind the headlight. Gives us pretty good clearance on the headlight, and yeah, looks like a neat spot for it. Going down from there, we can hit that 90, and then a 45 that's coming over into the intercooler. This is the intercooler we saw last week on the video, and then we have our piping here. So another 45 welds going there. This is now a 180, and we'll look at this from the top. That 180 makes its way to this side. From this side, which you can't see really. Let me see if I can get you a view from down here. See that 180, then there's a 90 coupler on the 180 that brings it up to the turbo, which is where we are here, and then just these holding onto the turbo. Again, none of these clamps were really tightened all that hard because we won't be seeing boost. We're not driving the car right now. When we did turn on the car, we had a pretty nasty exhaust leak from right here where the two flanges meet, but we don't have any gaskets there, and these guys aren't tightened all the way down either. So a few things we have to work out, like we don't even have nuts on all of them, or studs. So this was just really a trial to make sure everything that we had done was working out correctly, and it did. The car ran, no issues. After we had all that piping figured out, it was time to work on our oil cooler. And originally, since we were going to run the side mounts, which I didn't run, so if anybody wants those, they're available. These guys, or not these guys, this guy, which is our oil cooler back here, was mounted in the spot for the, for the side mounts. Not sure it's going to stay there. You can see there's a pretty good amount of material blocking it there. I might move it over further, closer to the fender, into the wheel, tire. That should get it in the path of more air. I never had an issue with the oil reaching crazy temps here, although during the winter it doesn't want to reach operating temps, so maybe that is a better spot for it. Or I'll just have to figure out another thermostatic adapter there, because that one's just not letting it get warmed up on the really cold months. Not that I drive it much around that time anyways. Another thing we figured out is that I most likely will not be able to run an intake on this car again, just because of space constraints. You could see here, as soon as I put this little filter on, where it gets us space-wise. I have the headlight here because I was testing out to see how things would fit. So let me get this into place here. That's about where the headlight will live. So you could see getting anything in and around there would be pretty tough. I'd have to actually get just about, I think it's like about 110-degree turn while aiming this way just to get something into this hole here. And that would get my intake or the filter in this spot, which would be a great spot for it. So I'm going to aim to do that, but we'll see if we could get that worked out. For the time being, this is how we're going to look. There's actually going to be a vibrant filter there that has a cone on this end too for more pleats. That should get us a little better flow. Now that this is all done, well, let's go check under the car first before we go there. All right, so now we take a look at the exhaust. This is how we ended up back here. I think it looks pretty solid. We don't have too much stick out. See the vibrant up there. From out here, looks pretty solid. So really happy with how those exhaust tips turned out. So now we're gonna jump on the creeper, slide under, and see how our work came out. So as you guys remember from the other video, we started off with the vibrant muffler. This guy's a 3-inch inlet on the muffler. You can see that there. The rest of our exhaust is 3.5 though, so we do have a little bit of a bottleneck restriction here. That's gonna be changed at some point. But right now, due to finances, this is how it's gonna be, and I'm pretty happy with it overall. Moving further back, we have our first V-band connection here. So this is right at the axle. So this will be our axle back here, of course, with the muffler. From there, we have a 3.5-inch V-band to another 3.5-inch V-band. This is covering the section here where the original larger muffler or resonator was. In case I ever want to put something here, I want to leave this area kind of untouched. Or not untouched, but open to modification. So having this just straight pipe here with the V-bands gives me some options later. In case I do want to modify, I only have to change this small section. All right, and then from that V-band connection, you can see where we travel here through the middle of the car. This is right below where the drive shaft is, and we continue there to the next V-band. You can see the bends and custom welds we have here. Again, pretty proud of these welds. I think these came out pretty solid, if I may say so. And then we end up here at our downpipe. So downpipe to another 3.5-inch V-band. The downpipe itself is 3.5-inch, and this is our flex there to give us, of course, some maneuverability due to the expansion and contraction from the heat. And then that goes all the way up. We have the 202 sensors we showed you up top, and that's pretty much it for the exhaust. But pretty solid, I think, overall on the exhaust. We didn't end up too low, which is nice. I don't think we'll have issues with scraping, although we will see. This is a little lower than the car, but I didn't want to get it too close to the drive shaft to avoid any issues. But I'll put you a little higher here. It hangs, I would say, about 2 inches lower than the lowest part of the car. So I don't foresee that being too much of an issue. The car is not that low, although we will see. But let's head back up and finish up. So now we're showing you guys the exhaust. I think we've touched upon everything we were going to touch upon in the car, so we're pretty much set. Here's a clip of the car starting, so you guys get an idea of what that looked like and what that sounded like. It's not the perfect sound clip because of the exhaust leak up front, but you get an idea of what it sounds like in the back. I did a few little revs here. Car oil wasn't really warmed up all the way, so I couldn't go too crazy. But anyways, check that out. And now that you saw that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really appreciate you watching. If you liked it, please drop a like. If you loved it, please subscribe. And if you didn't like it, hit me with a comment. See what we could fix, and maybe you'll like the next one. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.